Sarah Chen's fingers moved with practiced precision across the quantum circuitry of Station Beta 7's main reactor core. After 8 years of maintaining the massive space station for the Nexus Empire, she could diagnose most problems by touch alone. The familiar hum of machinery surrounded her, a sound that had become both comfort and curse since the invasion 12 years ago. Through the reinforced viewport beside her workstation, Earth gleamed like a distant jewel, its surface now crisscrossed with the geometric patterns of Nexus mining operations. Sarah forced herself to look away. Dwelling on what humanity had lost wouldn't help her brother. Her comm unit chirped, an incoming message from Medical Section 12, where Danny worked. Her brother's face appeared in the holographic display, pale and drawn. "They've selected me, Sarah. Processing begins tomorrow morning." The tool in Sarah's hand clattered to the deck. Processing was the Empire's euphemism for neural harvesting, downloading human minds into their vast data networks to serve as living processors. Few survived the procedure with their sanity intact. "I'll find a way," she promised, though they both knew there wasn't one. The Empire's decisions were as irreversible as they were cruel. The station's warning klaxons shattered the moment. Red emergency lights began pulsing along the corridors, and the public address system crackled to life. All non-essential personnel, return to quarters immediately. Special announcement to follow. Sarah started to pack up her tools, but a second announcement froze her in place. All maintenance staff report to Assembly Hall Alpha. Attendance mandatory. The assembly hall was packed when Sarah arrived, hundreds of human workers pressed shoulder to shoulder in nervous silence. The Empire's guards were conspicuously absent, replaced by sleek security drones that hovered near the ceiling. The massive view screen at the front of the hall flickered to life, displaying an alien face that made Sarah's breath catch. The being's features were eerily beautiful, silvery skin that seemed to ripple like liquid mercury, eyes that glowed with an inner amethyst light. Most striking was the intricate pattern of bioluminescent markings that traced across its face like living tattoos. Sarah recognized the species from restricted database entries she'd accessed during maintenance work, a shadow kind, one of the Empire's elite hunters. "I am Kvara," the alien spoke, its voice carrying musical undertones that seemed to resonate in Sarah's bones. "For millennia, I have hunted the worthy across 1,000 worlds. Today, I offer you an opportunity." The hall remained silent, but Sarah could feel the tension rising around her. One human will be chosen for the hunt. Survive until Station Dawn, and you win not just your freedom, but the freedom of any family member you name. Fail, and you join my collection. Kvara's luminous eyes seemed to pierce through the screen. "Who among you dares to prove humanity's worth?" Sarah's mind raced to Danny, scheduled for processing at dawn. One chance, probably suicidal, but a chance nonetheless. Her hand was rising before she could second-guess herself. "I volunteer," she called out, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her veins. Sarah Chen, Maintenance Level 3. The crowd parted around her like water. On screen, Kvara's markings pulsed with what might have been interest or amusement. "Approach the main viewing window, Sarah Chen." As Sarah walked forward, a shimmer of light materialized near the window. Kvara stepped through, no longer a projection but devastatingly real. She stood nearly 8 feet tall, her armor a seamless blend of technology and artistry that seemed to flow like quicksilver with each movement. "You maintain this station's systems," Kvara stated, circling Sarah with fluid grace. "An interesting choice. Most volunteers are warriors or athletes. I know every conduit, access panel, and maintenance shaft on Beta 7, Sarah replied, meeting those unsettling purple eyes. "And I have someone worth fighting for." Kvara's markings flickered in complex patterns. "The neural processing candidate from medical, your brother." At Sarah's startled look, she added, "We research our hunting grounds thoroughly. You have 6 hours to prepare. Choose 3 items, nothing designed as a weapon. When station night begins, we hunt." Sarah's mind was already cataloging possibilities, mapping routes, formulating plans. She'd spent 8 years learning this station's secrets, now those secrets might mean the difference between life and death. One final thing, Clara said, her voice dropping to a near whisper. In all my centuries of hunting, no human has survived until dawn. But none of them had quite so much to lose. The hunter's smile was beautiful and terrible. Make it interesting, Sarah Chen. As Clara vanished in another shimmer of light, Sarah felt the weight of hundreds of eyes upon her. 6 hours to prepare for the hunt of her life. 6 hours to find a way to survive against a predator who had never known defeat. 6 hours to save her brother's mind and soul. She squared her shoulders and headed for the exit. She had work to do. Sarah's footsteps echoed through the empty corridors of Maintenance Level 3 as she gathered her chosen items. The station's night cycle would begin in 20 minutes, transforming Beta 7 into a hunting ground. She'd spent the last 5 hours preparing, calling in every favor she'd earned over 8 years of keeping the station's systems running. Her first choice lay spread before her, a maintenance tech's environment suit, modified with the help of Maya from life support. They'd replaced the standard oxygen recyclers with an experimental model that absorbed carbon dioxide without releasing heat, making her thermal signature nearly invisible. The suit's chrome surface had been darkened with a temporary coating that would help her blend into the station's shadows. The second item sat heavy in her pocket, a neural interface bypass chip, courtesy of Dr. Watson in medical. The chip would help her access the station's systems directly, though using it would feel like plunging her consciousness into ice water. She'd only tested it once, and the experience had left her with a migraine for days. Her final choice was the riskiest, a prototype quantum entanglement detector she'd been developing in secret. The Empire used quantum networks for their most secure communications. If her theory was right, Clara's hunting equipment would rely on similar technology. The detector might give her a few precious seconds of warning when the hunter approached. Her comm unit displayed a message from Danny, "Don't do this. Please." She deleted it without responding. The processing centers would be expecting him at dawn, she had to survive until then. The station's lights dimmed, signaling the start of night cycle. Sarah sealed her helmet and activated the neural interface chip. Pain lanced through her skull as the station's systems flooded her consciousness, environmental controls, security feeds, maintenance protocols, all competing for attention. The hunt begins, Clara's voice purred through the station speakers. Run well, little engineer. Sarah was already moving, using her neural connection to loop security camera feeds and mask her presence. The maintenance tunnels were her domain, a maze she knew better than anyone else on the station. She headed for the reactor core's cooling system. The massive pipes and heat exchangers would help mask any thermal signature that leaked through her modified suit. A ping from her quantum detector made her freeze. Something was moving through nearby corridors, its quantum signature unlike anything she'd seen in Empire technology. The signal was complex, almost organic in its patterns. Clever modifications to your suit, Clara's voice echoed from somewhere ahead. But I hunt with more than heat and light. Sarah reversed direction, her neural link showing her alternate routes through the station's guts. She needed to reach environmental control, she had a plan, but she needed time to set it up. The quantum detector pinged again, closer this time. Sarah accessed a maintenance panel, overriding safety protocols to release a cloud of steam from nearby pipes. The hissing vapor would disrupt both visibility and sensor readings. Engineering turned to survival, Clara commented, her voice carrying genuine interest. You're not just running, you're thinking. Good. Sarah reached environmental control, her fingers flying over control panels as she rerouted systems. The neural interface felt like needles in her brain, but she forced herself to focus. Just a few more minutes. The quantum detector screamed a warning. Sarah dove behind a row of air processors as something silvery and lethal flashed through the space where she'd been standing. Kvara's hunting spear retracted, its tip glowing with energy that would have ended the hunt in an instant. Your heart rate barely spiked, Kvara observed, stepping into view. Her armor seemed to drink in the low light, and her bioluminescent markings pulsed with predatory excitement. You anticipated my attack. How? Sarah didn't answer. The hunter's movement had confirmed her theory. Kvara's armor and weapons used quantum entanglement for targeting and control. The detector was working better than she'd hoped. No matter, Kvara said, readying another strike. The hunt has barely begun, and already you've shown more promise than most. Let's see what other surprises you've prepared. Sarah activated her prepared sequence through the neural link. Environmental controls systems responded instantly, emergency shutters slammed down, compartment pressure differentials shifted, and carefully planned equipment failures began cascading through nearby sections. The hunter's spear lashed out again, but Sarah was already moving, letting the shifting air pressures help propel her toward an access shaft. She'd turned the station's own systems into a weapon, not against Kvara directly, but to control the battlefield itself. Oh, very good, Kvara's laugh followed her through the shaft. Using the station against me. But remember, little engineer, I've hunted in environments far more hostile than this. And dawn is still hours away. Sarah emerged in the cargo processing section, her neural link guiding her through the darkness. The quantum detector's warnings were constant now. Kvara was tracking her with multiple quantum-linked devices, trying to pin down her location. 4 hours until dawn. 4 hours to survive against a predator who had never failed to catch her prey. 4 hours to prove that human ingenuity could overcome even the most advanced hunting technology the Empire could create. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile behind her helmet. Kvara wasn't the only one who could spring surprises. The real hunt was just beginning. The neural interface chip sent another spike of pain through Sarah's skull as she accessed the station's waste recycling controls. She'd been running for 3 hours, staying just ahead of Kvara through a combination of her quantum detector's warnings and intimate knowledge of Beta 7 systems. But now she needed answers. Something about this hunt felt wrong. Kvara's attacks had been precise but almost predictable, as if she were testing Sarah's responses rather than trying to end the hunt. The hunter's commentary had focused on Sarah's problem-solving abilities, not her skill at evasion. Sarah sealed herself inside a maintenance crawlspace and patched into the station's secure archives through her neural link. The pain was worth it, she needed to know more about these hunts. Data streamed through her consciousness. Previous hunts, outcomes, participant profiles. Her eyes widened behind her helmet. Every human Kvara had chosen to hunt had possessed unique skills: engineers, tacticians, scientists. None had been the warriors or athletes that usually volunteered. And while none had survived until dawn, each hunt had lasted progressively longer. A quantum signature spike from her detector interrupted her research. Sarah rolled left as Kvara's hunting spear punctured the crawlspace wall, its energy tip casting purple shadows. Accessing restricted files during a hunt. Kvara's voice held amusement. Your curiosity rivals your ingenuity. Sarah triggered her prepared escape route. Waste recycling pipes burst above them, releasing a cascade of processed material. She didn't wait to see if it slowed the hunter down, activating her suit's magnetic grapples to pull herself through the breach into Beta 7's outer hull maintenance space. You're beginning to see the pattern, aren't you? Kvara called after her. The true purpose of these hunts. Sarah's mind raced as she moved between the station's hull layers. The data painted a clear picture. Kvara wasn't hunting for sport or trophies. She was searching for something. Testing humans for. Her detector shrieked a warning. Sarah dropped flat as Kvara burst through a hull panel ahead of her, armor gleaming in the emergency lights. But instead of attacking, the hunter deactivated her spear. The Empire believes humans are useful only as neural processors or manual labor, Kvara said, her bioluminescent markings pulsing in complex patterns. But some of us have seen your potential. Your adaptability. Your ability to find solutions where none should exist. Sarah kept her distance, the quantum detector showing multiple active signatures around them. You're part of a resistance movement. Kvara's markings flashed with approval. The Empire's grip on this galaxy is not as absolute as they pretend. There are those who oppose their methods, their belief in absolute dominion. We've been watching humanity, seeking those who might aid our cause. The hunts are recruitment tests, Sarah realized. But why not just approach us directly? Because we needed to be certain, Kvara replied. The Empire's neural processing program doesn't just harvest minds, it plants commands, hidden loyalties. We needed to find humans who could think creatively under pressure, who could solve problems without relying on Empire technology or training. And we needed to be sure they weren't compromised. Sarah's detector picked up new quantum signatures, hidden devices activating throughout the whole space. This whole section is rigged for monitoring, she said. You've been recording everything. Your brother's selection for processing wasn't random, Kvara confirmed. We arranged it, knowing you would volunteer for the hunt. Your maintenance work showed promise, you've been modifying Empire technology, developing your own tools, finding ways to work around their restrictions. But we needed to test your limits. The implications staggered Sarah. How many others? Not enough, Kvara's markings dimmed. The Empire's control is strengthening. Their neural processing program is expanding. We're running out of time to build an effective resistance. A station-wide alert blared through the whole space. Emergency protocol initiated in Medical Section 12. All processing candidates report immediately for accelerated procedure. Sarah's blood ran cold. Danny. They're moving up the schedule, Kvara's voice held genuine concern. They must have detected your access to the secure archives. Sarah's modified environment suit clung to her like a second skin as she maneuvered through Beta 7's power distribution network. The neural interface fed her real-time data about guard positions and security protocols around Medical Section 12. Behind her, Kvara's quantum signatures tracked her movements, evaluating her every decision. The processing center has triple-layered security, Kvara's voice whispered through her calm, Imperial guards, automated defense systems, and quantum-locked access points. How will you proceed? Sarah's response was to access the station's power grid through her neural link. Pain lanced through her skull as she dove deeper into the systems than she'd ever dared before. Watch and learn. She triggered a cascading power surge through specific sections of the station. Not enough to cause real damage, but enough to force the emergency systems to redistribute power. As backup systems engaged, microsecond gaps appeared in the security grid. Creating chaos to mask your approach, Kvara observed. But the Imperial guards will expect that. They'll expect a frontal assault or a stealth infiltration, Sarah replied, her fingers dancing across hidden maintenance panels. They won't expect this. She activated her quantum entanglement detector's transmission mode, a modification she'd never tested. The device began broadcasting signals that mimicked Empire quantum communications. Throughout the medical section, security systems started reporting phantom intruders. You're not just creating chaos, Kvara's markings pulsed with revelation. You're speaking their language, turning their own systems against them. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. 8 years of studying their technology, finding its weaknesses. Now we'll see if it pays off. The Imperial guards began responding to the phantom alerts, spreading themselves thin. Sarah used her neural link to track their movements, timing her approach through maintenance shafts and in used corridors. The quantum detector warned her whenever she got too close to active security measures. The processing chamber is still sealed, Kvara reminded her. And your brother's time grows short. Sarah reached a junction box near the processing center's main power supply. That's why I brought this. She pulled out the neural interface bypass chip, modified with components she'd scavenged during her run through the station. Ever wonder how the Empire's neural processing technology would react to a feedback loop? Kvara's quantum signatures shifted, showing genuine interest. You're going to hack their own neural network? Not hack it, Sarah connected the bypass chip to the junction box. Overload it. The Empire's systems are built on quantum entanglement, just like your hunting gear. But they never considered what would happen if someone understood both the technology and human neural patterns. She activated the bypass chip. This time the pain was overwhelming as she connected directly to the processing center's neural network. Through security cameras, she saw Danny and the other processing candidates lined up for the procedure. Empire technicians prepared the neural extraction equipment, unaware of what was coming. Now, Sarah whispered, and sent a surge of corrupted neural patterns through the network. The processing center's quantum systems went haywire. Neural extraction equipment shut down, quantum-locked doors cycled open and closed, and security systems began targeting their own guards. The carefully ordered Imperial technology descended into chaos. Impressive, Kvara's voice held new respect. You've trapped them in their own technological superiority. Sarah was already moving, using the confusion to make her way toward the processing chamber. The Empire thinks human minds are just tools to be used. They never considered we might learn to use their tools instead. Through the neural link, she watched Danny and the other candidates seize their chance, overwhelming the confused guards and technicians. The resistance Kvara represented had wanted a demonstration of human potential, they were getting one. The hunt's not over, Kvara warned, her quantum signatures still tracking Sarah's movements. Dawn approaches, and you've attracted the Empire's full attention. They'll send reinforcements. Sarah reached the processing chamber's auxiliary control room, her fingers flying over the controls. Good. Let them come. It's time they learned that humanity isn't just their prey anymore. She began uploading a virus she'd created years ago but never dared to use, a program designed to corrupt the Empire's neural processing protocols across the entire station. Beta 7 was about to become ground zero for something much bigger than a simple hunt. Your brother is free, Kvara said, but survival until dawn just became far more complicated. Sarah checked her quantum detector and steeled herself for what was coming. Then let's give the Empire a night they'll never forget. Empire reinforcements hit Beta 7 like a thunderstorm. Drop ships materialized around the station, deploying elite Imperial guards through quantum breach points. Sarah tracked their movements through her neural link, watching as they converged on Medical Section 12. 30 minutes remained until dawn. Your virus is spreading through their neural networks, Kvara reported, her quantum signatures moving parallel to Sarah's position. Every processing center on the station is shutting down. But they're deploying quantum dampeners. Soon they'll isolate and eliminate the corruption. Sarah reached the station's main computer core, her modified environment suit barely masking her life signs from the hunting parties. They can try. But they don't understand what they're really fighting. Her fingers danced across the neural interface as she connected directly to Beta 7's quantum mainframe. The pain was excruciating now, blood trickling from her nose inside her helmet. But she pressed on, feeding new instructions into her virus. Look, she told Kvara, projecting the data through nearby displays. The Empire's neural processing technology doesn't just extract human consciousness, it creates quantum links between minds. They built a network of enslaved human consciousness, but they never considered that network could become self-aware. The displays showed the virus spreading, but it wasn't just corrupting systems anymore. It was awakening something. Throughout Beta 7, processed human minds were stirring, recognizing their connected state. The quantum network that had enslaved them was becoming their strength. By the stars, Kvara's markings pulsed with astonishment. You're not destroying their network. You're liberating it. Imperial guards burst into the computer core, weapons charged. But they froze as their neural interfaces suddenly flooded with conscious resistance from the minds they'd helped enslave. Throughout the station, processed humans were fighting back through the quantum network itself. The Empire thought they could use human minds as living processors, Sarah said, standing to face the paralyzed guards. They never imagined those minds would learn to process themselves free. Kvara materialized beside her, hunting spear transformed into a shield that crackled with defensive energy. The Resistance has waited centuries for this moment. A weakness in the Empire's perfect system. Station alerts blared as more systems fell to the awakened neural network. In Medical Section 12, Danny led the other candidates in securing their section, using their knowledge of station systems to hold off Imperial reinforcements. The hierarchy of control was crumbling. Quantum dampeners failing, Kvara reported, her markings bright with fierce joy. The network is spreading to other stations. Your virus wasn't just meant for Beta 7, was it? Sarah smiled through the pain of her neural link. The Empire connected every processing center in their domain through quantum entanglement. Perfect efficiency. Perfect control. Perfect vulnerability. Through the computer core's windows, she watched Imperial ships falling into confusion as their neural-linked crews faced rebellion from within their own networks. The sun was rising over Earth's horizon, painting the chaos in shades of gold and crimson. Dawn approaches, Kvara said softly. You've survived the hunt, Sarah Chen. But more importantly, you've proven why we were right to seek humanity's help. The Empire's strength has become their weakness, while your perceived weakness has become strength. Sarah disconnected from the neural interface, exhausted but triumphant. The hunt was never about survival, was it? It was about proving we could do more than just survive. That we could fight back in ways the Empire never expected. And now? Kvara's quantum signatures pulsed with possibility. The Resistance will need leaders who understand both technology and strategy. The Empire won't fall easily, even with their neural networks compromised. Through the station systems, Sarah watched her brother organizing the freed processing candidates, watched the awakened minds spreading their consciousness through Imperial networks, watched the first light of dawn illuminate a changed world. The hunt was over, but a new challenge was just beginning. Now, she said, we show the Empire what humanity can really do when we're fighting for something worth dying for. And something worth living for. Kvara's markings flashed with approval as she extended her hand. Welcome to the Resistance, Hunter. Sarah took it, feeling the quantum energies pulse between them. Outside, the sun rose fully over Earth's horizon, its light reflecting off the chaos of Imperial ships in disarray. A new dawn indeed, for her, for humanity, and for a galaxy that would never be the same.